As humans, we go through life, we evolve, we experience different stages of change. But if there is one thing that is constant, is that we have to experience this life with others. And on this program, we hope that we impact your lives in important ways. And today is no different. This is Window on Abuja, and I am Maimuna Ummi Ibrahim. The battle with COVID-19 and the pandemic that we've been facing has been on for a while now. And as you know, all hands have been on deck to make sure that Nigerians are being taken care of in the right way. As you know, we have our third variant now out there, which is even more deadly than the other two. So today on the program, we have somebody who is going to share with us why it is important for us to know the information that is around COVID-19 and of course, why vaccines are important. And his name is Dr. Sadiq Abdurrahman. He is the Acting Director, Public Health Department, Health and Human Services Secretariat, FCTA. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Sir, we've been having this COVID battle. We're getting to 2 years now since we had the first case, and of course all across the world we've been battling with the COVID-19 pandemic. And as you know, there is a new deadly variant out there called the Delta variant. What exactly do we need to do on what information should we have for the residents and what they need to know to battle this new variant?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's key to know that we are still in the pandemic. Just like you rightly said, we've gone through the first and second wave of the pandemic. And here we are again with the third wave that as a result of a variant of the COVID. Specifically, there are different types of variants, but this one of particular interest is Delta variant. We had it from the 5 different countries, including South Africa, namely Brazil, Turkey, India, and of recent, South Africa has been added on the list. And here we are also in Nigeria, specifically Lagos and Akwa Ibom and the southern part of the country, and FCT as we speak, because before you can ascertain whether you are dealing with the Delta variant, it has to undergo sequencing, and that has been confirmed. Most importantly, in the control of corona or COVID-19, as it is popularly called, it's key to note that we have public health response activities, which include issues around activation of the COVID-19 EOC Center with 9 pillars. And one of these pillars, very important pillar, is risk communication and community engagement, meaning this pillar is saddled with the responsibility to pass out the accurate information, the pros and cons, and for people to understand what to do and what not to do. So it is around the non-pharmaceutical preventive measures. This is still very effective for whatever type of variant we're dealing with. In addition to the non-pharmaceutical preventive measures, also issue of vaccination is key. As we speak, we also had the first phase of the vaccine, which was AstraZeneca, and now we have received in country other vaccines from the US government. We have received Moderna, we have received Pfizer, and most importantly, we are still expecting AstraZeneca as well. So people need to get out there and have their vaccination doses completed, and if it is Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer that is 1 dose, it should be also done. That, in addition to the non-pharmaceutical measure, is very, very key.
Okay. Okay, sir, so before I talk about the vaccines now,
Yeah.
I want you to please explain to me why the Delta variant is referred to as being more deadly. Are the symptoms different from the regular symptoms that we're used to? Because the rumor is that it accelerates faster with how
That's
it
right.
affects
That's right.
people.
Yeah, it's the most important thing we need to know is a variant comes about as a result of mutation. This germ had undergone mutation, and this is a novel germ, it's a novel disease, and so it keeps changing. We keep learning, and then the most important thing is we have understood it, we have known the trend, and also the measures to mitigate. It is highly infectious, and it highly transmissible. It moves faster than compared to the other COVID-19. So it, meaning individual can appear apparently healthy with minimal symptoms of maybe just catarrh or upper respiratory tract infection, but he can also be transmitting. And before you know at that stage, it is also too late. So it's very important for us to note that. And more so, especially during this period of rainy season where people congregate. And the unfortunate thing is there's that apathy, fatigue, and a lot of that misconception that people still believe, well, it is not true. However, it is true. So we need to still maintain all these non-pharmaceutical measures on ground, i.e. wearing of mask, social distancing or physical distancing, regular hand washing, especially with soap and water for at least 30 seconds. And in the event there's no soap and water, issue of hand sanitizer is key.
With the second round of vaccines now being put in place for people to be able to take the COVID-19 vaccines, there are some people that are still skeptical about having these vaccines. Can you please explain to us why it is important to all of us, especially to all the residents out there?
Thank you very much. It's a very good question, and for any disease, not just COVID-19, not just corona, most importantly, first of all, we need to understand that coronavirus is a family of that causes many other diseases, respiratory diseases. So, and like, for example, influenza type A is vaccine that is being used. Other viral diseases, measles, and so on, they are all vaccine-preventable diseases that we vaccinate routinely our minors. And even the pregnant women, they also take this at intermittent, especially the tetanus toxin. So it is not different at all. The only difference is this is a novel disease. It comes with a lot of challenges, a lot of learning process, and most importantly, we have gotten the vaccines. Though these vaccines are coming up from different sources with different in framework and infrastructure, but they confer the same immunity. And for individual, for you to get your system strengthened for any disease, especially in an outbreak or pandemic like this, you need an antigen or immunity, something that will trigger your immunity to recognize the germ that causes the disease, which vaccine also does it. So the issue around this vaccine, personally, as I speak to you, I've received the AstraZeneca, the first and second jab. All the misconception around it, I would have manifested with it. For example, on social media, you see people putting metallic object on the site of the vaccine, that it is magnetic. Then the whole system would have been magnetic. More so, the variant and the diluent in that vaccine, it is less than 2 mil, which automatically, even at the site of the injection, would have been dispersed. So how strong is it to leave that landmark for it to even hold to a metal? All these are misconceptions. Secondly, this vaccine will confer the immunity to the entire population to give what we call herd immunity. And we need to, at least to achieve that, to fight this disease, to bring it to an end globally and in Nigeria, at least we have to vaccinate not less than 70 to 80% of the total population. So this is key to all of us. People have to take responsibility. In fact, life is sacred, and every soul should know that you owe yourself responsibility to stay alive. So the government is trying its best. Individuals, community, everybody has to also play a role to have that synergy to do the right thing for us to mitigate the disease. So everybody should come out in mass. Those that have not taken their vaccine, these vaccines are going to be rolled out very soon. It is still undergoing is sort of authentication and putting a tracking number by the NAFDAC so that it can be properly tracked and the data properly utilized. So these vaccines are safe and effective. And for us to have that herd immunity, for us to bring this disease to an end, everybody should take it. And must be at least 2 doses for AstraZeneca and Moderna and so on. But for Johnson & Johnson, it's only 1 dose. All this will be spelled out clearly. We're still awaiting the policy direction from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
And now we're going to take you to the streets of the FCT to find out if people are still keeping to the protocols that have been put in place for us and if they know enough about how deadly the Delta variant is.
My face mask is in my pocket because I'm talking to the press. Okay. But after now, I'll put it on.
Why are you still observing it?
Because it's for other people's safety. For me, I'm very certain that I can't be affected.
Yes, of course I am. Actually, from the very first incident, it has become our culture. So we have built that culture of being safe. In fact, the COVID-19 has also given us a new way of living our life. So I won't say yes because I'm not putting on my face mask.
Okay.
If I say I'm still doing it, that is, I'm not putting my face mask.
Okay.
If I'm putting it, that is, I'm still. So I'm not putting it because I'm alone. I think I'm alone in my car, driving alone.
Okay.
Definitely. We are looking at this Delta variant that they said is like an upsurge again of COVID. So with that, people have to protect themselves. In the offices, we use hand sanitizers and face masks. But when we come out, it's been a long time that we are using face masks. So people are getting tired of it, likewise me. But when we are in the midst of people, we use it.
Yes, well, it depends on where I find myself, actually. I need to be candid here.
Okay.
It depends on where I find myself. But like you can see now, I'm not putting on my mask.
Of course we know.
I can't be contagious about it. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid.
Yes.
Yes, I learned, I heard that on the news.
The same old things we have been doing, observing social distancing, using hand sanitizers, covering ourselves when we are in the midst of people. Like if we are inside offices, like I said before, we cover ourselves. If we are in churches, we cover ourselves.
The advice of the NCDC is that we should regularly wash our hands and some of other things. I think I do that. Wash my hand, always clean.
Washing my hands, using sanitizer and all this particular using of face masks. Yeah, I will rather adhere to those protocols that are being put in place by the Presidential Steering Committee.
Farming is a major preoccupation for a lot of residents in the communities here in the FCT. And when nature strikes, its impact is felt, whether good or bad. Recently, in the Kwali-Abaji axis, there was flooding. And water gives life, but sometimes it also destroys. Let's take a look at how flooding affected that area.
In African societies, festivals and cultural rites have symbolic and oftentimes practical applications like rites for a bountiful harvest. For some communities in Abuja, there won't be much jubilation. The hinterlands of the capital city have long produced crops for their consumption and for the city. The rains give hope to the farmers to plant their seeds, but too much of a good thing is sometimes said to be a bad thing. Communities along the Abaji-Kwali Area Council were ravaged by flood waters for over 4 hours in the first week of August 2021. Homes were swept away and families displaced.
This flood caused a lot of damage. It destroyed my home and properties. The clothes I am wearing, I was given. I am not happy and I don't have money. My children are all young. I don't have adult children. I have been feeding through goodwill, and I was given a little space to stay for the time being. I am staying separately from my family.
This is very unfortunate that we witness this natural disaster where people running helter-skelter, they are homeless. Farm product and millions of naira in the farm and home were destroyed. You can see that people around are homeless. We don't know what we do, so we are calling on federal government of any agencies to come and to their aid to rescue them.
An estimated 15 kilometers of cultivated farmlands were affected by the flood.
I refer to Kwali as the food basket of FCT because almost all the food products, 95% of the food products in FCT is being produced here in Kwali Area Council, specifically Wako here. And as you can see, before this flood initially, we did produce, let's say, 85% of all the food products in FCT is from here. And specifically, crops like maize, rice, crops like plantain, banana, and so. As you can see, you've seen for yourself, more than 25,000 hectares of land was washed away by this flood. And these people have planted rice on this farmland before this flood. Presently now, as I'm talking to you, they want to replant, but most of them don't have the means of replanting because the little resources they have already been put there, and now the flood has washed it away. So they are hopeless. Most of them are they are homeless now.
I can tell you, everybody, all this area you are seeing now, everybody don't plant. If you come back next week now here, maybe you will pick some truth to indicate that people have already planted, finished. Nobody in this area, almost about 15 kilometers, if I'm not made a mistake, they are planted. And the water has already washed everything. Nothing remains there. Both banana and everything, all is washed.
So far, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has sent an assessment team to the communities.
You can see that they are predominantly farmers here, and a very vast farmland has been affected. And that is why I say it is very pathetic, but we thank God that there was no life lost.
Times like this create an opportunity for the humanity in each of us to shine through to the people in crisis.
I promise you, it's not all doom and gloom out there in the world. There is so much good around us. Let's try as much as possible to find it within us and around us. And of course, we all have to take responsibility for ourselves, our families, and of course, those around us. Try as much as possible to stick to the protocols that have been put in place for us. Wash your hands regularly with soap for at least 20 seconds. If you can't find soap around you, use a hand sanitizer, wear your masks diligently, and please practice social distancing as much as you can. But of course, we also have to take responsibility. Again, I remind you that vaccines are out there. They are safe, they are effective, and we can all do what is right by going forward and taking the right vaccine for us. I hope that all the information we have shared on today's program will impact you in the right way, and I hope that you will join us for another episode of Window on Abuja. As always, I am Naimuna Ibrahim.